Tonight, the promise of higher education. Students say it's under attack. The Educational Freedom Project, raising new questions about access and opportunity. Andrew Longo reports.
Changes coming to the MBTA. A new wave of fair enforcement officers hitting the system. What it means for Boston riders and why many students are concerned. Richie Kohler digs deep.
And breaking here at Northeastern, a new $100 lab fee set to begin this semester. Students speaking out on affordability. Lawrence Brown live with reaction from campus.
Plus, safety concerns in Mission Hill, and the latest updates overseas from Gaza to Nepal.
The news, the story, the impact. The Husky Update starts now. Good evening. I'm Paige Williams.
And I'm Kate Gunther.
And welcome to the Husky Update, your source for broadcast coverage here at Northeastern and around the world. We begin tonight with fear on Mission Hill, as residents are made aware of a neighborhood stalker. People who live on the hill say the Peeping Tom actually enters apartment buildings at night, and they are now fearing for their safety.
Really close friend of mine actually woke up on the couch to someone in her living room, and the second she woke up, he sprinted down the stairs. There's been Ring camera footage that I've seen. He's wearing a purple hoodie and jeans, it seemed like. Just close your doors, close your windows, get those bars for your windows.
Residents have reported several incidents like this one at homes on Oswald Street. They say they haven't heard any updates from police.
This September marks 2 years since the graduate employees of Northeastern formed a union and began negotiations with the university for improved benefits. Current negotiations have stalled, and Northeastern's provost Thomas Shahan says that the union has been, quote, soliciting student support for a strike. Though the union has not publicly announced plans to strike, it rejected 2 offers from Northeastern over the summer. The university has said that the union refuses to budge from unreasonable financial demands, while the union argues that Northeastern does not pay graduate student workers a livable wage. 2/3 of union members must vote to authorize a strike.
Well, this semester you may have noticed an additional fee on your tuition bill.
NUTV's Lawrence Brown is live at Ryder Hall with details on the new fee that has been put into effect. Lawrence?
Kate and Paige, good evening. Students here tell me they're not just upset about these new fees, but they're disappointed that no notice was given.
I think maybe the schools should have made some announcement a little more in advance. I feel it was kind of unfair to spring it up on people and have them just discovered in their bill.
Criticism is mounting from students after Northeastern University added an extra fee for all studios, labs, and music classes.
I think that they're kind of a money grab.
$100 is now listed on Northeastern's student finance website, and this fee is charged per class, with some students paying upwards of $400 more than last year. In a statement on their website, Student Financial Services said this fee is being introduced because laboratory and studio courses require specialized staffing, equipment, materials, and supplies that have significantly increased in cost. But students are skeptical about where that extra money is really going.
If they were ideally used, they would be to support the art department and the music department and the things that they do, but I do not think that that is exactly what's going to happen at all.
Other students are showing optimism.
I think with the money, they're gonna, improve the materials that we have more materials available for everyone.
After investigating Northeastern's banner class registration website, NUTV News found that some classes that require the new fee aren't worth any credits, like this visual composition art class. And students tell me this documentary production class, which is labeled as a studio, doesn't take place in a studio setting.
Optimistically, I would hope that it actually goes toward lab supplies. If we're looking at the broader state of higher education, it's already a luxury when it shouldn't be. And so for some people, maybe adding $100 per lab isn't a big deal and they can still do that, and that's great. But it's just making education even more of a luxury good, which is not how it's supposed to be.
And students here say that their music professors have also encouraged them not to sign up for music classes in protest of these new fees. Live outside of Ryder Hall, I'm Lawrence Brown, NUTV News.
Northeastern has spent $270,000 on federal lobbying this quarter. according to data from the Huntington News. Funds are reportedly going to programs that support financial aid, work study, cooperative education, international students, and lifelong learning. While other universities, including Harvard, have increased their lobbying budget in wake of President Trump's return to office, Northeastern has remained consistent in their spending for the past 12 quarters.
The Massachusetts State Police Officer Standards and Training Disciplinary Database now features 6 NUPD officers. The most recent addition to the database is an officer who supported a colleague convicted of rape in 2014. Nearby universities, BU, MIT, and Harvard, each employ over a dozen officers featured in the database.
This month, the MBTA introduced fare evasion monitors on the T to catch riders who purposely don't pay. NUTV's Richie Kohler digs deeper into the program's rollout.
The signs are everywhere, but those MBTA workers dressed in blue shirts and khakis, not so much. Last week, the MBTA began enforcing its new fare evasion policy. For the first time, a team of fare engagement officers is checking riders across the system to make sure everyone pays. The MBTA says it loses tens of millions of dollars each year from unpaid fares. Instead of criminal charges, violators now face civil fines starting at $50. Officials argue the policy is about fairness, making sure every rider contributes to keep the T running. However, not all riders agree.
I think it's really messed up because what if I want to take the train to Symphony? That's 2 stops. You're telling me I have to pay the same amount?
But how is this policy actually being enforced? Today we rode the T in Boston to find out. We rode the Green Line on a busy Sunday from the Northeastern stop to Government Center, where the MBTA held its press conference earlier this week. Not a fare engagement worker in sight. This likely because only 16 officers were rolled out across the system last week. As a result, spotting them isn't easy, and that's part of the challenge. Some riders told us they hadn't noticed any new presence on the T.
I haven't run into them yet, so I don't have any bad experiences. But I think it's good to make sure everyone's paying their fair share.
The MBTA has confirmed only 16 officers are active right now, with more expected later. Their goal is not just ticketing, but engaging, explaining to riders how to pay and what happens if they don't. For Northeastern students who rely on Ruggles and the Green Line to get to class, the rollout could mean new worries or new reassurance.
Just looking at everyone and they'll just stop anyone. I seen them just talk to people about paying the fare. It hasn't affected me, to be honest. It just depends on the stop. Even the Northeastern stop, I still never pay.
As enforcement ramps up, MBTA leaders say this is about fairness and funding. But questions remain. With only 16 officers to start, how visible will enforcement be? And will students feel the effects right away? From downtown Boston back to campus, the rollout of the fare engagement team is raising questions. For Northeastern students, the real test will be whether it makes their commute feel fair or simply more stressful. Reporting from Boston, NUTV News, Richie Kohler. This has been NUTV Digging Deeper. Have a tip? Contact us here.
Well, in the wake of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's murder, which was the most recent development in a wave of political violence across the country, several historically black universities were locked down due to security threats. With that, Northeastern also was receiving threats. NUTV's Elizabeth Chalmers has the story.
In the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk's passing, Northeastern and several other universities received a graphic message.
I was definitely a little bit horrified when I saw that. When I saw that it was across multiple schools, I didn't see it as really a credible threat, but just the language they used and just the threats that they made were just crazy to me.
The day following the fatal shooting, the Northeastern Police Department sent a message informing the campus that, quote, individuals at several universities, including ours across the country, received a highly offensive and racist email from an unknown sender. Although the NUPD did clarify that the email did not pose any credible threats to our campus, it still came as a shock for many students.
A threatening sort of message going out towards, minorities and, black students. It's definitely not a good feeling to sit with. I think it just goes to show the extent that people will go to make individuals feel uncomfortable, unwelcomed, and, not belonged.
That same day, several historically black colleges, or HBCUs, received threats to their campuses as well, which were deemed credible enough to warrant a lockdown of their schools.
Because of the identities of the schools that were being threatened, Howard considered that kind of something to keep an eye on. And that kind of, I guess, alarmed the student body and prompted our school to react and say that we were that they were being highly vigilant, and that there was a greater security presence on campus for that reason.
But for students like Brisa, this racial targeting following the death of Charlie Kirk is nothing new.
I was horrified, but also not entirely surprised. And I think that is a weird combo, but that's kind of intuitive to the experience at HBCUs.
A day later, suspect Tyler Robinson was accused of Charlie Kirk's murder and taken into custody. He's been first charged with aggravated murder, according to the New York Times, and is potentially facing the death penalty.
Because of the tragic nature of the way this happened, the violent nature of the way that happened, we kind of were praying that the individual responsible was not Black. And the reason being is when you have incidents like this and it is white people committing these crimes, it's something that they can be separated from the bunch. Whereas when incidents that are horrible like this happen and it's Black people, it's considered a cultural cancer that is ingrained in our community, and we as a whole are the problem rather than the one bad apple attitude.
The Department of Justice hopes to pursue the death penalty for Robinson, whose actions continue to spur unrest across the country. In Boston, I'm Elizabeth Chalmers, NUTV.
The United States has vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, its sixth such veto. All 14 other members backed the measure. U.S. Deputy Envoy Morgan Ortagus said the resolution failed to condemn Hamas or affirm Israel's right to defend itself. The United Nations warns conditions in Gaza are, quote, cataclysmic, as thousands flee Israeli ground offensives. The veto comes just days before the UN General Assembly, where Gaza and Palestinian statehood will be major topics.
In other international news, political changes are underway in Nepal. 10 days ago, protesters set fire to many high-profile buildings in the country's capital, causing a complete collapse of the government. First evoked by social media bans and calls for justice by Gen Z, the country is seeing some new shifts. As a result of the violence, Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli has officially resigned, and former Chief Justice Sushila Karaki has assumed the new leadership interim position. Karaki is Nepal's first female prime minister, actually chosen through popular gaming communication platform Discord. Groups participated in chat rooms to simulate a mini-election for this vote. Stay with NUTV News in the coming weeks as we continue to follow this story.
A group of Northeastern students worried about the influence of the federal government on higher education has set up its own off-campus organization. NUTV's Andrew Lago joins us live in studio with our club spotlight. Andrew?
That's right, Kate. The Educational Freedom Project is one of the newest organizations on campus and is actually stepping off campus to fulfill its mission. Friends is typically a place to admire the views and get active. But for Northeastern's newest independent student association, it's also a meeting place.
I think it's urgent. I think it affects all of us, no matter whether you join the club or not.
We are in a very turbulent moment with Trump attacks attacking higher education. We want to mobilize students.
The Educational Freedom Project was started this spring by a group of students concerned about attacks on higher education. Jack Maslia is a co-founder and has witnessed this firsthand.
You cannot speak out against Trump anymore as an international student. It comes with a degree of risk.
The project aims to turn concern into action.
We think we all have something to offer, and we can harness that passion and move that forward together.
To accomplish their goals, the project's organizers hope to collaborate with like-minded institutions, Boston-based nonprofits, and local politicians to leverage Northeastern to come to the negotiating table.
Our policy priorities are based in student sentiment and just their concerns about the university.
But for now, they've chosen to remain separate from the university, avoiding any limitations that could be imposed on their work.
We're not looking to fight with Northeastern here. We're really, at our core, we believe that our mission is to fulfill their mission as well.
In 2025, Northeastern was ranked 178th in the country for free speech on campus by the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression.
I feel like we're building a movement, I believe in it, and we're a bunch of passionate students ready to fight back against what Trump is doing, showing courage, and showing up and pushing our universities to do what is right.
Now, the hard work begins. In Boston, Andrew Longo, NUTV News. The project's organizers tell me that they may eventually move to become affiliated with Northeastern, but for now, they want to leverage the university from the outside. Kate?
Thanks, Andrew. It's been a busy fall so far for Northeastern's sports teams. NUTV's Cassandra Joyce has your full sports recap.
Northeastern's Division I sports are in full swing as we reach mid-September. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams have had the most success out of Northeastern teams so far this season, taking first in their inaugural meets. Field hockey began its season 3-0 before falling to the University of New Hampshire and the nationally ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Volleyball also started the season strong with a 4-2 record before being swept in 3 games on the road last weekend. Senior libero Nadia Kuinui was named CAA Defensive Player of the Week, and the Huskies began conference play today. Men's soccer picked up its first conference win of the year Saturday, ending 2-1 against the Monmouth Hawks. Senior midfielder Morris Matthews contributed to both goals for the Huskies, tallying an assist and a goal. Matthews and sophomore forward Bryce Flowers have 6 points each this season. Women's soccer has had a difficult beginning to its season, as the team currently holds a 1-4-3 record. In the Huskies game against the University of Vermont last Thursday, Northeastern held a 2-0 lead until the last 5 minutes of the game before giving up 2 goals to end the game in a tie. Northeastern men's hockey is holding an inter-squad scrimmage tomorrow at the historic Matthews Arena for students to enjoy. Looking to next week, tune in to cheer on the Huskies at home. Volleyball will play its home opener at Cabot Center next Friday and Saturday. Men's soccer returns to Parsons Field on Saturday. Both field hockey and women's soccer will finish out a weekend of home games on Sunday. From Northeastern, Cassandra Joyce.
Finally, for the very first time, City Hall Plaza will be hosting the Boston Rodeo and Country Music Festival tomorrow night, featuring artists such as Evan Honer, Cassie Ashton, O'Connor Brothers Band, and more. Fun events as line dancing and mechanical bull riding, along with food and drinks from local businesses, come together to bring the Wild West energy to the East Coast. Tickets are selling quickly, with prices ranging from $80 to $300. That's the news. The rest is up to you. Be sure to follow our Instagram page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with NUTV News. I'm Paige Williams.
And I'm Kate Gunther. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again on Friday, October 3rd. Have a great night.